Today on the channel, we're going to be having a look and reviewing the Phantom issue number 12 by Regal Publishers. It has two massive stories. It's the Leigh Falk birthday special. There's two massive stories, including The Vanished Village and Terror at the Opera. So I hope you enjoy this. It's a massive, amazing cover done by Ankit Mitra. And let's get into it. I hope you enjoy this comic book review of The Phantom, issue number 12 by Regal Publishers. A very, very special artwork. When I first saw this, I thought, that's amazing, that's special, and that's legendary. Commemoration of the 110th birthday party, birth anniversary of Leigh Falk, the creator of Mandrake the Magician, lots of plays, and The Phantom. He was born April 28th, 1911, and sadly passed away on March 13th, 1999, 1911. And this book, to start this book off, we've got a few articles, one of them being from the legendary Anthony Tolanwood. And then we've got Pete Claus. We've got an article done by Pete Claus on the very wonderful memory of the late Leigh Falk, when Leigh Falk occurred in the early 1990s. In New York City, I was invited to have lunch with Leigh by the owner and editor of Australian Few Phantom comic, Jim Shepherd. Jim selected one of Leigh's favourite restaurant in Manhattan called Sardi's. Located in the theatre district, good friend and longtime Phantom historian Bob Griffin was invited first and suggested that I and writer Ed Rhodes be extended a dinner invite to meet the Phantom's creator. We all found Mr. Falk to be engaging, smart, and very well read. After introducing ourselves briefly, Leigh told the group many stories about his experiences while writing his countless adventures on the Phantom. Leigh cherished the opportunity to answer any questions concerning his creation of both the Phantom and Mandrake the Magician. We sat and enjoyed the conversation for 3 hours, which seemed to make the time just slip away so quickly. We loved hearing Leigh's stories and new ideas about his iconic figure. It was this initial get-together that led to an annual Leigh Falk dinner at Sardi's hosted by our group friends of the Phantom. Leigh attended about 8 such a luncheon events until his untimely death in 1999. And we thank Pistol, Pete Claus, Bob Griffin, and Anthony Toland from Tolanwood for contributing their stories, especially written for this issue of Regal Comics, published by Regal Publishers. Finally, special thanks to Swaroop Chand, our comic collector friend from Bangalore, for connecting us with the contributors and coordinating to get the content ready. And there you go. There's the 4 great people themselves. Left to right, Bob Griffin, Ed Rhodes, Leigh Falk, and Pete Claus. Pistol Pete Claus, that is. Wow. That's got to be an absolute photo of history just there. Just to say that. Pete Claus, USA, is one of the free founding members of the club, Friends of the Phantom, along with Bob Griffin and the late Ed Rhodes, and he became friends with Phantom's creator after being invited to a dinner in New York City by then Australian comic editor Jim Shepherd, who seemingly, I think, passed away in the 2010s, I think it was. The Phantom with Leigh Falk. Story number 1, The Vanished Village. Vanished Village story is by Leigh Falk, artists by George Olsen and Fred Fredericks, and cover art and Kit Mitra. We've got a little bit on the Phantom, who he is, what he is, and when he was first created. And then we have The Vanished Village. A distant village in the jungle, home at last. Where is everybody, everything? In the great unexplored Phantom jungle, many legends, myths, among ancient ruins and empire of Black Emperor Jumka, a beauty, a lady floating on water, luring men to slavery or death. Drummer of timpani, who conquered men's souls. Most bizarre of all, a man who could not die, a ghost who walks, the phantom. Phantom, a jungle joke? In cities, no belief, not true, and of course not silly. But the seven seas, seafarers, he fights pirates, always has man who cannot die. But in deep jungle, they know and believe him ghost who walks, many claim they saw him fly through the air on his great white stallion hero. This happened at night under a hidden helicopter or chopper. Arnold Schwarzenegger, get to the chopper! From the distant edge of the Phantom Country, beyond the misty range, a weird myth, legend, myth, lie? A normal village, suddenly, it's said, just vanishes. That starts the vanished village. Now, this village, it is vanished, it's gone, it's mysteriously disappeared. And now we want to know why it's gone, it's vanished, it's mysteriously disappeared. And this story actually starts with a guy who is going to be going to school and that is being funded by, and this guy says, our rich cousins asked, pick our brightest boy for education. We chose you, Leon. Make us proud. I do my best, highest. Years pass. School, college, med school. He goes from school, college, and then to med school. And ends up being a doctor. Stay in the city, Leon. We need good doctors. My people need me more. I go home. Home at last. My family, my people, everybody, everyone gone. So he looks, finds traces of a fire that is simply has gone out and has been going out and been remembrance there for at least a couple of months. And then he goes on search for a trail and he finds the trail ends where the river leads and flows. Then he gets onto the jungle drums and says, I am Leon of Lonago. Mystery of all people, my village vanished. And the deep woods, the phantom in the deep woods hears it. And then he goes to the Lonago people and they say, oh no, they're actually our cousins. They're actually an old person and they're another tribe and they're our relatives and cousins. So he goes to the other village, which is also called Lonago, and finds a loner, a lon. He explains that it is actually true and that the village is gone and it's not just a superstitious thought. The phantom crosses the river as another guy had done previous and another one before him. He crosses the torrent of a river, vine breaks, devil almost vanishes, almost washes away and almost vanishes himself. And he seems that he has found the answer to why it's called the secret of no heights. And the secret is it's filled with Asian giants. What are they doing here? Strange creature, not like others. Is that his skin? No, material. Does it have eyes? Oh look. No way, big boy. No way, big boy. Hands off. I said down. Sorry, I said put me down. Little one, strong. What do you hold? Guns they can kill. Do not believe too little. Try on one of them. The missing village of Alona. Phantom, here to help us. Take us home. The reason why it's vanishing is because the people of the jungle and the people of that tribe are being helping forcefully these giant Asian type people to rebuild their ships after their ships had taken a very, very big damage toll. And these jungle people have been trying to help them rebuild their ships. But the people that are wanting them to rebuild their ships are being cruel and not letting them go home. So the Asian giant then says they were little like people like here. They hunted their food, we had ours, we managed a trucy. By little, he means normal size like us. Then long winters, few animals remained for them. Hungry they came to us. Phew! From our gardens for you. The trucy was over, we weren't fighters, we were meat. And what he's talking about is that it's currently the Ice Age. They get on their boats and they start going elsewhere. And because it's through ages and through time, and these people already existing at the Ice Age and when cavemen were still around, they go on their ships and they go through time, and it takes them so long to try and find another place that almost that all age and all time has gone by. And then they end up meeting more people, and those people are met only with suspicion and fear. Fear and suspicion in many forms, but no peace. Through time, we searched for a home, and currently, right now, I think they're in the Spanish Armada. Is it the Spanish Armada? I think it is. But no home, no peace. Then we found this place, hilly like our ancient homeland, and no people there was a taboo that monsters dwelt here. We found old bones. The monsters that they're talking about are old remembrance and fossils of dinosaurs from probably maybe 500 to 300 million years ago. And they've just found skeletons and they think, oh, we haven't seen these before. These are monsters. When really they're just dinosaurs. And they lived in a different time to other people. Peace at last. We've used our boats for our dwellings, but we needed food until we could grow our gardens. We went to the jungle for help. What we got was war once more. Once more we must sail on to find our home. Maybe there's another way. So the Phantom speaks to him about peace, but he doesn't want peace for himself. He just wants to be able to get on with trying to get back to some sort of more normality. So then he takes all of the other tribe's possessions and makes them work for them. See how angry they are? They are angry because you've taken them away from their homeland. They're angry because they have no home. So when you don't want them to go back to their homeland, why else? They're going to be angry for some reason. It's not only because you've taken them from their homeland and won't let them go back. It's other reasons as well. When a person gets away from their homeland, they feel like they're on a foreign land. They don't really belong there to a sense, and that they just want to go home. And the Phantom says to another person and says, oh, they're taking our village back home. The return from No Heights. Mother, father, it's me, Alon, our big boy, Sob. The vanished people in the village come home. First time in their unhappy lives, giants working for others tell the jungle. So the giants repay their dues, and the jungle then hears of these people who they once had feared that they were going to take their initial homeland. They do end up taking their homeland, but then they work it out and they repay their dues. Their dues. Different size, different color, and they also work out that they're all both human, they're both the same, and so peaceful talkings and peaceful bringings become peaceful friends. The giants of No Heights build a bridge over Thunder River. For the first time the jungle comes to No Heights, they build a bridge between two peaceful friends. This is a miracle that happens when people work together. No more need for our boats. We're staying here, home for good. They now have found their homeland. Goodbye, good luck, happiness for all. The end. Now we have the second story, and it's called The Terror at the Opera. So the Phantom is hanging out with Diana and his kids. They go out hunting, but Diana doesn't really feel like hunting is appropriate for young kids. So they go out hunting anyways, and they learn how to hunt the Phantom style. They are attacked by a leopard, where the Phantom protects his kids by swarming off the leopard. They go back home, having caught something for dinner, which was rabbit, and then Diana gets a phone call from her uncle Dave. Yeah, Uncle Dave in Washington, where Uncle Dave wants to talk to the Phantom. The Phantom accepts that call, he talks to him, and he mentions something about the terrorists from Darkian, the Dark Terrorists, the Dark Pirates. Then the Phantom goes, Mr. Walker goes to the USA, they had a little talk, they try and work out where this new plot for terrorism is going to be. And this plot happens to be that there's going to be a guy who has a briefcase, and that briefcase is filled with a nuclear weapon, a nuclear biological warfare. So it ends up being that the Phantom wants to search and find this nuclear warfare and weapon before it goes off and destroys everyone and causes a absolute massive incident for the USA. And so because the USA and because Uncle Dave has a job with the president of the time, he's able to get heaps of resources, and that resources includes a tank and some people. And before even that, he needs to do paperwork, but he doesn't want to do paperwork, so they keep stalling it. And finally, he gets the tank he wants and some people to go try and blow something up. In the meanwhile, the Phantom is working out civilly with civilians from Darkian to try and come to a reasonable outcome. I say reasonable outcome. I say that our mate's about to get a skull mark and a real good lesson. So at that same time, the Phantom then races to an opera where the said nuclear weapon could be. He gets to the opera, he cause a big massive eruption, and then he says, where is the nuclear weapon? And there's all those treasure chests, they look fairly obvious really, and then he pretty much also notices that there is like a code, a lock on what do you call it, on the priest's neck. He gives him a skull mark and a lesson too, and then he says, we have 60 seconds. How do I defuse the nuke stuff? Tell him or we'll all die. Everyone says, it's this. Keep talking, I'm just an opera singer. The dark section of Brooklyn deserted as a tank comes rolling in. Hey, that's it. You'd better sing. 45 seconds until nuclear explosion. Someone just put her on me. Who? A costume woman. Do-do. It's a code. What is the code? I don't know. In Brooklyn, tax dollars at work. What's our orders? Flatten the joint. In Manhattan, who knows? Someone tell the code, and the code happens to be the backstage. Someone said the year of the opera. Oh, anyone knows that, 1870. And so it all fizzles out and it all ends and everyone is safe. Maestro, if you please, with pleasure. Dun, 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 dun. That's the end of the story. My singing is terrible. And then Lee Falk said this to the Associated Press in 1996. I guess that's what I am, a storyteller. Some kids sing to impress their parents. I would come down and tell stories to my parents' friends weird stories that only a kid would tell. I guess I never stopped. And that was said in 1996 to the Associated Press. He definitely didn't stop after creating The Mandrake the Magician and The Phantom and the also many plays that he created, which was over 300, with 100 of them directed by himself. So there you go, there's my comic book review of The Phantom, issue number 12 from Regal Publishers. I hope you enjoyed this real good look at this Phantom comic, and as always, keep Phantom caving, stay safe, and you'll see me next time on the channel.